Terraform is a great way to deploy and manage infrastructure. But what about pre-existing infrastructure that was created manually? One main principle of building infrastructure is everything should be in the form of code. And that's exactly where Terraform comes in. Terraform gives you the ability to develop, deploy, and manage your entire infrastructure in the form of code. And to fully reap the benefits of operating your infrastructure through Terraform, all pre-existing infrastructure should be managed and used in the same manner. The challenge most businesses face when it's time to implement Terraform is how to get pre-existing infrastructure into Terraform. In today's video, I will be showing you how to import your pre-existing infrastructure into Terraform. By the end of this video, you will understand how to map existing AWS infrastructure to your Terraform state file. Without taking much of your time, let's get started. Okay guys, as you can see, inside of my AWS account. This AWS account has few resources, I think, very few resources, but we're not going to use those resources. So I'm going to create the resources we would be importing into Terraform manually. Then I'm going to show you the process of importing those resources into Terraform. So without taking too much of your time, let's get started. So the first thing we want to do is create our resources. So we want to create a VPC, we want to create our EC2 instance, and we want to create our S3 bucket. So I'm going to create a VPC. So to create a VPC, you can go to services and you can click on VPC, or you can come to the search bar and you can type VPC. Then you can click on create VPC. Then choose VPC only. We don't want the subnet, we just want the VPC. So I'm going to call this VPC manually created VPC. That's how I'm going to call this VPC, manually created VPC. Then I'll give it a generic CIDR range, which is 10.0.0.0/16. I'll leave everything as default and I'll create that VPC. So now if I go to your VPCs, you'll see that there's a VPC that's named manually created VPC. The reason I named it manually created VPC, it's because when we see it, we know that it was manually created. Then the next thing I want to create is an EC2 instance. Go to instances, go to launch instances. Then I'm also going to call this manually created instance, right? Manually created instance. Then I'll leave everything as default, and where it says key pair, I'll say proceed without a key pair. We don't need a key pair. Then I'll leave everything as default. Then I'll launch instance. So it's going to take some time for our instance to come online. So if we go to instances, you can see the instance state is pending. So why instance state is pending? Let's go and create our S3 bucket. So go to the search bar, search for S3, choose this one, and go to create bucket and call this manually created S3 bucket. So I don't think this bucket name will be unique, so I'm just going to attach the date of today. So this is going to be 2023 09 or 2023 09 19, something like that, right? This just to make it unique. Then I'll leave everything as default. Then I'll click on create bucket. So now as you can see, our bucket was successfully created. So now we have 3 resources. We have a VPC that was manually created. we have an EC2 instance that was manually created, and we have an S3 bucket that was manually created. So all of these resources were created manually inside of our AWS console. So the next thing is that we want to import these resources into Terraform so we can start managing these resources from Terraform, because right now we cannot manage these resources. These resources can't be managed by Terraform. Why? Because they were not created by Terraform. But what we want to do is we want a scenario whereby we can manage everything with Terraform. So in order for us to do this, we have to import it into Terraform. So to import this into Terraform, the first thing I'm going to do is I'll go to my desktop and I'll create a folder, and I'll name this folder Terraform import. So you can name the folder anything you want. So I'm going to name this Terraform import. Then once I have this Terraform import, the next thing I will do will be open VS Code. Then I'll go to files. I'll go to open folder, and I'll search for that Terraform import. Terraform import is this one right here, and I'll open it. So the first thing I want you to notice is that this folder is empty. There is no Terraform configuration. So the next step would be to create, some Terraform files. The first one would be our provider.tf, and the second one would be our main.tf. So we have our provider.tf and we have our main.tf. So I'm going to start by setting up my provider. In order for me to do that, I'll quickly jump back to Google and I'll search for AWS Terraform provider code, and I'll choose this first one. After I choose this first one, I would quickly scan through everything, and I would, I'll grab this one right here, this first one. So I'll grab this first one, go back to VS Code, and I'll put it in here. I want to include my access keys and my secret keys, because that's how Terraform will authenticate into my AWS account and pull those resources. So I'll go back to the Terraform website, scroll down, and I'll copy these keys right here. Not the keys, I'll copy this block of code right here. Come back, paste that in here, and I will align it, to make it look good. Yeah, that looks good. Now you will notice that we have this provider, but we're missing something. So we're missing our access keys and we're missing our secret keys. So I'll go back to AWS and I'll search for a service called IAM. So I'll search for IAM. I'll click on that. Then once I get here, I'm going to click on users. As you can see, I have 2 users, but I'm not going to use this one. So I'm going to create another user so you can see me do it from scratch. So I'm going to create a user and I'm going to call this user Terraform importer. So that will be the name of my user, Terraform importer. Then I'll click next. I'll go to attach policy directly and I'll give it administrator access. I'll click on next. I'll click on next, and boom, now I have this user called Terraform importer. I'll click on this user called Terraform importer. Then I'll click on security credentials. I'll scroll down to where it says create access key. Then I'll click on that, and it's going to ask you, why do you want to create that access key? That's fine. Just click on others. You can choose any of these. That's fine. But I will just click on others. Then I'll click on next. Then I'll click on create access keys. Then I'll select this access key, or copy that access key, and I'll paste it right here. And I'll copy this other secret key and I'll paste it right here. Now note, this is not the best practice when it comes to setting up your providers in Terraform. I actually made a video on how you can securely store your Terraform keys locally, right? So go check out that video. Once I have these keys and everything looks good, the next thing I'm going to do is to save this, right? So this is saved. And once saved, I'll open my terminal. So I'll go up here where it says terminal, then I'll go to new terminal, and I'll make sure I'm using bash. I'm a huge fan of bash. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to make sure I'm inside of this directory called Terraform import. So to do that, you can do a pwd and it's going to show you your directory. So I'm inside of that directory, and if I do ls, you can see the 2 files inside of that directory. I'll clear my screen. Then the first command I'll use is terraform init, and what's going to happen is that this is going to initialize this current directory and do all those amazing stuff and install all those chime modules and stuff like that. So you can see it says Terraform has been successfully initialized, right? So now this directory we're ready to go. So to start importing all those resources that were created manually into Terraform, we have to create those resources inside of Terraform as well. So the first one would be that VPC. So I'll go back to Google and I will simply Google. I'll look for the Terraform configuration to create a VPC right here. You can find it right here. Another thing is, if you know how to write HashiCorp language, you can just write it. But if you have doubt, you can just search for it. Go to Google and search for, Terraform configuration to create a VPC, Terraform configuration to create an EC2 instance, Terraform configuration to create an S3 bucket, and you'll find all of those resources. So what you want to do is you want to copy this. You don't need to copy everything. All you need is to copy this one up here. Just copy this, bring it into Terraform and paste it right here. Then you want to add, those curly brackets. And so this is the resource we want to create, and this is the resource name. So for the resource name, I'm going to call this YouTube underscore VPC. That's how I'm going to call this, YouTube underscore VPC. Now, this is all you need to do. This is all you need to do. You don't need to do anything else. This is just all you need to do. Then I'm going to save this, right? Then once I save this, I'll run a couple of commands. The first one will be Terraform format. The second one will be Terraform, validate. And just hold on for 1 second. Validate is successful. And the third one would be our Terraform plan. Right, so it says it's going to create a VPC right here. As you can see, it says 1 to add, 0 to change, 0 to destroy. But we don't want to create a VPC because we already have a VPC we created manually. What we want is we want to import that VPC into Terraform. So in this case, we don't need to apply this resource, right? We're going to use another Terraform command called Terraform import. So I'll clear my screen and I'll run the command Terraform import. Then I'll specify the resource I want to import. So that will be an AWS underscore VPC. Then I'll specify the resource name. So I'll put a full stop and I'll specify the resource name I want to import. So we named our resource as YouTube VPC. So I'll copy this and I'll paste this in here. And once we have this, we have to specify the ID of the resource we will be importing into Terraform. So to do that, go back to your AWS console, go back to VPC, click on this VPC. Then once you're here, click on VPCs, then click on this VPC and copy this VPC ID, take it back into Terraform and paste it right here, then hit enter. So what happened is that VPC now lives inside of Terraform. So it's now inside of Terraform, and you can see it says import successful. That's what we want to see. Then it says the resource that were imported are shown above. The resources are now in your Terraform state and will henceforth be managed by Terraform. So now that VPC is now inside of Terraform, and now it's been managed by Terraform, but still our Terraform configuration does not look good. What if we want to change the name of the VPC? What if we want to change the CIDR range of the VPC, right? What if we want to do all of that? So we have to structure our Terraform configuration in a way that we can do all those changes, or we can make all those changes without having to stress. So to do that, the first thing you want to do is you want to run a command called terraform show, and you want to hit enter. So remember terraform show, then you hit enter. Then once you run that command terraform show, you want to copy all of this and you want to paste that in here. So you want to take this out, I'll paste this here, and boom. So once you paste this in here, it's gonna start looking like an actual Terraform code. But there's one thing we want to do. So if I save this and I run a Terraform plan, once I run that Terraform plan, we should get some errors. So these errors simply shows us what we have to take out, what we don't need. For example, we don't need all of this, so I'm going to take all of this out. We also don't need this ID. We don't need this owner ID, this main route table ID, and this IPv6. We don't need all of that, so I'm going to take that out. We don't need 2 tags, we only need 1, so I'm going to take this one out. Put back that curly brackets. Cool. So now this is beginning to look great. We also don't need this ARN. It's not needed. Now, so this is beginning to look great, right? So one thing we can do is we can save this and we can run that Terraform plan one more time. So I'm going to do Terraform plan, and as you can see, everything was successful. It says no changes, your infrastructure matched the configuration. Now let's say I wanted to change the name of that instance from the name of that VPC from manually created VPC to Terraform created VPC. I can just come here and I change this to Terraform created VPC. I save it, then I run a couple of Terraform commands, like for example Terraform format. Then I'm going to do a Terraform validate. Then I'm going to do a Terraform plan, and the plan will show me exactly what would happen. Look at this. It says the name of the instance will be changed from manually created to Terraform created. Yeah, that's exactly what I want. So I'll clear my screen, then I'll do a Terraform apply -auto -approve. And what's going to happen is that Terraform will then go and change the name of that instance. And this is the proof that we are now managing that EC2 instance using Terraform. So I'm going to refresh my entire screen, and you're going to see that the name was changed into Terraform created. So now the VPC is being managed by Terraform. So the next thing we want to import would be that EC2 instance. So that will be the next thing we want to import. It will be that EC2 instance. And to import this EC2 instance is a similar process. So you simply just go to Google and you type Terraform configuration for EC2 instance. You grab this first one. And once you have this first one, remember that you don't need to, you don't need to copy everything. You just need to copy by the resource block. That's fine. So you just need to copy this one up here. Copy that. Go back into your Terraform and paste that in here, at that curly bracket, and let's call this YouTube instance. And that's all we need, right? So I'm gonna save this, and I will run that Terraform import one more time. So I'll do a Terraform import, specify the resource AWS _instance, then the name would be what? The name of the resource would be YouTube _instance. Then I have to provide the instance ID. So if I go back to AWS, and this is my instance right here, I click on this, I can find the instance ID right here. So I click on instance ID, I go back to Terraform, and I paste the instance ID right here, and I hit enter. And boom, it successfully imported that instance into Terraform. So this EC2 instance is now part of our Terraform, state 5. And if I do a Terraform state list, I should see that I now have 2 resources inside of my Terraform state 5. Now, when you look at this EC2 instance, you notice that the code is not that friendly, right? What if you want to change the instance name or the instance type with Terraform? How do you do it? So what we want to do is we want to repeat the process we use for the VPC. So you want to run Terraform show. Want to hit enter, and you want to scroll until you find that EC2 instance resource, which is this one right here. So I'm going to copy everything. No, just copy everything. Don't worry about it. Just copy everything. Go back to your configuration, take this out, paste what you copied, and start taking some stuff out, right? Like for example, definitely know I need the AMI. So I'm gonna take this one out because I don't need it. Let me see. So first thing first, I'm gonna take all of this out. It's not needed. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna take here. Okay, so do we need a subnet ID? I don't think we do. We don't. So I'm gonna take it out. That's fine. The source dex check. I'm also gonna take this out. I don't think we need it. Right? Right here is a security group. We kind of already know it's using the default security group, right? So we can leave it. We can choose to take it out. It depends on us. But we're gonna take out a couple of things, like for example, this public IP. This is actually the IP of the instance, and we don't need it as well. This is the private IP, so I'm gonna take a lot of these things out. Remember that if you don't know exactly what you should take out, you can always run that Terraform plan and it's going to tell you exactly what you should take out. So let me save this and let me run that Terraform plan. So I'm going to do Terraform plan. And once I run the Terraform plan, it's going to tell me like everything I should take out, right? So let's start from here. It says I should take out the ID, the instance state. So both the ID and the instance state should be taken out. So in fact, I'm going to take out all of this because we don't need it. The instance type, I'll leave it. I'm going to take this out as well. We don't need it. What else should I take out? Primary network interface ID. So I'm going to take this out. I'm just going to take this 2 out. Even this monitoring, I'm going to take it out because we don't need it. Then let's see, it says the private DNS should be taken out and the public DNS as well should be taken out. So this is the private DNS. Right here is the private DNS and this one should be the public DNS. So I'm going to take this. Let's just take all of this out. I'm also going to take this one out. I don't think we need it. We don't need this as well. We don't need this as well. Nice. So I'm going to save this. So this would be save all. Then I'll clear my screen. Then I'll do a Terraform. Then I'll do a Terraform plan. And boom. So everything looks good, right? Everything looks okay. I have a warning. You know, you can take off that warning by just taking out this entire section. You know, we don't need it. You don't need even all of these things. You can take them out or you can choose to have them there. You know, that's up to you. It depends on, you know, the configuration of the EC2 instance you want to keep inside of Terraform. So let me do a Terraform plan again. Okay, nice. So you see, this time we're not getting that warning. So now everything looks good. Now that EC2 instance is being managed, fully managed by Terraform, but I want to change the instance name from manually created to Terraform created. Then I'm going to save it. Then I'll clear my screen. Then I'll do a Terraform format, right? So when I do a Terraform format, I'll notice that I'm getting some, I'm getting some errors, and the error is actually coming from here, right? So I'm going to do Ctrl-Z to go back. Then I'm going to do this Terraform right here, Terraform created. Then I'm going to save this, and it will solve that problem. So I clear. Then I'll do a Terraform plan. So that problem should be solved, right? So as you can see, it says 1 will be changed, nothing will be added, 1 will be changed, and 0 will be destroyed. But I want to do something. I want to do a Terraform format. Cool. Just to make sure that everything is aligned properly. Then now I already know that one thing will be changed, nothing will be added, and nothing will be destroyed. So that's fine. So I'll clear my screen. Then I'll do a Terraform apply. That'll be dash auto dash approve. And now Terraform should go out there and change the name of that EC2 instance. from this name manually created to Terraform created. So now as you can see, it's Terraform created. So now the instance is being managed, fully managed by Terraform. So the last resource we're going to import into Terraform will be that S3 bucket. Now S3 buckets kind of different because they technically don't have an ID, right? So let's see how we can import that S3 bucket into Terraform. So just go to Google and just type Terraform configuration for S3. So I'm going to put S3. Grab the first one, and remember, all you need is the resource type. That's all you need. You don't need anything else. So just grab the resource type, come back to your Terraform configuration, paste that in there, and add some curly brackets. So I'm going to add some curly brackets. Then I'm going to call this one YouTube _ S3. I'm just going to make it one word, _ S3 bucket. Then I'll save this resource. And what next? Terraform import, right? So I'll clear my screen and I'll do a Terraform import. Then what? The resource type, AWS _ S3 _ bucket dot the resource type name, this one. Copy this, put it here. Now, since S3 buckets do not have ID, we're going to use the S3 bucket name. And the reason why it's going to work with the name is because S3 bucket names are globally unique. Two buckets cannot have the same name, but two instances can have the same name but cannot have the same ID. Two VPCs can have the same name but cannot have the same ID. So in the case of S3, two buckets cannot have the same name, and that's why if we use the name of the bucket, Terraform can actually go out there and fetch that exact bucket. So I'll go back to my AWS account and I will grab the bucket name, come back to Terraform, and I'll paste the bucket name in here, then I'll hit enter. So as you can see, it has successfully imported that bucket into Terraform. Again, the Terraform configuration does not look good, so we want to make it look good so that we can easily manage that resource into Terraform. So to do that, we simply want to run Terraform show like that. So we want to run Terraform show, and it's going to take us to this page. Obviously, we want to look for the one that talks about S3. This is right here. So I want to grab this. Then I'm going to copy this. And once I copy this, I'll take this out. I'll put this one here. And guess what I'll start doing? I'll start fixing it, right? I'll start fixing it. So remember, the best way to know exactly what to take out is to run a Terraform plan. And Terraform plan will tell you exactly what to take out, what you don't need. Cool. So let's see. So the first thing it wants me to take out is the ARN. Then it wants me to take out the bucket domain name. So let's take off that. So we want to look for that ARN. This is the ARN right here. So I want to take this out. We also want to take this bucket domain name out. And we also want to take out this bucket regional domain name. So we want to take out this too. We don't need it. We want to also take out this hosted zone ID. We want to take that out. We don't need it. We also want to take out the bucket ID. We don't need it. It says object locked enabled. We want to leave it to false, right? That's fine. So let's look at other things we have to take out. We've taken out that. We've taken out the ID as well. We also want to take out the region. We don't need the region. So I'm going to take out this region. We don't need it. Everything looks good to me. Everything looks okay. I can even enable versioning right here if I want to. So if I put versioning enabled or true, it should enable versioning. So everything looks good in my opinion. And what we want to do as usual is we want to save this. So I'll go to files and I'm going to save all. And I'll do a Terraform format. Then I'll do a Terraform validate. You usually want to cross your fingers to make sure that your validate comes back successful, right? Which it did. It came back successful. So now, as you can see, our S3 is now being fully managed by Terraform, and I can make changes to it. Like for example, the bucket name, I can change the bucket name to Terraform created S3 bucket. And I can also go to where it says versioning and I can set that to true. True, like that. And I'll save this and I'll run my Terraform commands. So let me clear first, then I'll do a Terraform format, Terraform plan. So everything is looking good. Look at this. It says 1 to add, 0 to change, 1 to destroy, right? And you can see what will be destroyed, what will be added, and stuff like that. So this would be replaced right here. So the bucket name will be replaced. Everything looks good to me. So I'll clear my screen and I'll do a Terraform apply -auto -approve. Please, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to share this video with someone who is struggling to import some resources inside of Terraform. So we just have to wait, and in some few minutes those changes will be updated. So as you can see, there's an error. So let's fix this error. So I will simply go to this part right here and I'll take it out. I'm going to take this part out. Cool. I'll save it. And I will clear my screen, do a Terraform format. I'll just do a Terraform validate. And I will do a Terraform plan just to see what would happen. Okay. Then I'll do a Terraform apply space -auto -approve. Let's see if this time. Okay, so as you can see, it says apply complete, resources 1 added, 0 changed, 1 destroyed. So let's go back to that S3 bucket and let's go to buckets. Let's refresh. Now you can see that the bucket name is Terraform created S3 bucket, then with the date of today. Then if we click this, we go to properties, scroll down, you're gonna see that bucket versioning is enabled, and we enabled that from Terraform. So now as you can see, our VPC, our EC2 instance, and our S3 bucket, they are now inside of our Terraform configuration. So If we go back to Terraform and we do a Terraform state list, we should find those 3 resources in here. And if we do a Terraform destroy, right? I just want to destroy everything. Then guess what? Terraform, we go out there and destroy everything. Yes, I want to destroy everything. So Terraform, we go out there and it should destroy everything. Let's give it 1 second. So as you can see, Terraform successfully destroyed 3 resources. So now if we go inside of our AWS console, we go to VPC. You see that VPC is gone. If we go to EC2, you see that EC2 instance is terminated by Terraform. And if we go to S3, you also see that S3 bucket is gone as well. So guys, that's how you import resources that were created manually inside of an AWS console into Terraform. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any question, please leave a comment below. Do not forget to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. See you in my next video. Bye.